In this video, shots were definitely fired. In this video, we're going to Fort Sumter. Today we find ourselves at the beautiful, iconic Fort Sumter, nestled in beautiful Charleston Harbor. Join me as I delve into the fascinating story of this fort and its role in shaping American history. Fun facts and intriguing details await. There are about 100 school kids heading my way right now to get on this boat to go to the fort.
Overboard is a violation of federal law.
Did you know that Fort Sumter played a pivotal role at the start of the American Civil War? It was right here on April 12, 1861, when the first shots were fired, marking the beginning of a conflict that would shape our nation. Fort Sumter became a symbolic flashpoint for the tensions between the Union and the Confederate armies. As you can see, the fort's location is simply breathtaking. Charleston Harbor offers stunning views, and the fort itself is situated on a small island that was man-made all those years ago. Fort Sumter is an adventure all in itself, allowing you to soak in the beauty of the surroundings and prepare for the historical journey ahead. Fort Sumter was built between 1829 and 1860. Construction of the fort began in 1829 as a part of a series of coastal defense fortifications commissioned by the United States government after the War of 1812. It was built on a man-made island at the entrance of Charleston Harbor in South Carolina, intended to protect the harbor from potential naval attacks. Most people are, so while they're all tucked away there, I'm going to go and explore. Let's check this place out. Got a cannon here. It's pointed in the wrong direction, but it's here. I don't know what, maybe it shoots it over the fort, and then ships coming into the harbor get blocked. You have another cannon here, and this is the fortification area. It can shoot straight out into the entrance of the harbor there. But in the 1800s, when they bombarded it, I think for 4 days, pretty much destroyed most of what was there. We are at the lowest level as well, so we'll just walk around and see what we find. It's actually pretty quiet without the kids screaming and going crazy. Looks like there is some erosion, like history is claiming its peace. Time, a lot of bricks have fallen. Let's see if we can find a picture. There's certainly a limited amount of time that you're here on this island, so when you come here, do not delay. Get out there and explore all that this historic site has to offer. The weather on this day could not have been any better, so if you come here, early spring is really the time to go. Plus, the weather's been very cool here. During the build of Fort Sumter, this project faced several delays and challenges, including engineering difficulties, labor shortages, and materials. The fort was finally completed in 1860, just in time for it to become a focal point of the American Civil War, which began in April of 1861.
Hi there.
As I'm walking in, look at this spectacular park ranger welcoming us in.
What's doing? Hi there.
Not bad. Hope you enjoy your time out here. If you'd like to go up to the flag raising, you can go up past the museum.
Okay, thanks.
This is the inside of Fort Sumter. Really not too much displayed here except for cannons, but it is it's nice to check out the actual interior of the fort. As I'm walking up these stairs, please note that there is a museum to my left right now, and we'll check that out a little bit later. Now the flag that they put up here is still the flag from that time period, which is like 33 or 35 stars, which represented the states a part of the country at that point in time. It's actually pretty interesting. You'll see it in a bit. Today, Fort Sumter is preserved as a national monument and is part of the National Park Service. Visitors can explore the fort's museum, exhibits, and take guided tours to learn more about its history and significance. Okay, so this wall here is known as the Gorge Wall, and it faces Morris Island and James Island area, and it was less fortified, and so shelling began on this side to weaken the fort. Every fort has a weak spot, and this was one of them. So they shelled it from Morris Island, which is another barrier island here, and this was an opportunity for the Union. Alright, so this looks like it is the powder magazine where they kept all of the gunpowder. We have a spot here that doesn't have a cannon. And you can see it. If I turn the camera around, that's what it looks like. So they'll point the cannon through here and then shoot. Okay, it looks like the flag has been raised, so those kids are not far behind, and they will be here very shortly. So let's watch out. All right, this is what it looked like when it was in good shape. Looks like 1861 before the bombardment. Even had windows. 3 stories of windows. So if there were 3 stories, and there was certainly somewhere inside here was where the actual barracks were, and they stood 3 stories high. It's amazing that they had that all in here, because it doesn't look like they could, but I guess you could have a long area here and then a long area there underneath the powder magazine, or perhaps it was over here near the museum. A close look at the wall in front of you reveals the Union artillery shells embedded in the brick. They were fired during one of the longest sieges in U.S. military history. Batteries on Morris Island, 1 mile behind you, and guns on Union warships shelled the Confederate stronghold for 22 months. So they used the palmetto tree for fortification. You'll probably see it on one of these plaques. The palmetto tree is actually pliable, so when the cannonballs would hit, it would bounce off. Yeah. I haven't seen anything about it yet, so hopefully I'll find something that says it. They talk about it all the time in different history tours. It's so bouncy, and it's good for fortification. I tried to imagine what it was like back then, and what it was like to experience all of this. Everybody had like a different job, and they probably lived in those barracks that are on the map. And everybody had to do something to contribute to this defense. Important thing I want to point out here is for that was Morris Island and Folly Beach, and then over there is Sullivan's Island. So all this area in between is the entrance to the harbor, and that is what this port is here to protect. The battle was for the control of the harbor. Whoever controls the harbor controls the land, so they could keep other ships from coming in, they can keep trade from coming in, and so that's why this is so important. Also, I'm not sure if you can see it, however, I'll try to get as close as possible. That's an American flag I've never seen before, and it only has, I don't even know, probably just has a certain amount of stars for the South, maybe? Because the South went all the way up to Texas, Oklahoma, and then all the way back to Virginia. So, let's see if I can get a better shot of it. "33 stars for the 33 states at that time." At this time of the day, I just walked around, didn't have so much time left, but from this vantage point, you can see how gorgeous these barrier islands are surrounding Fort Sumter, and I just took in all the ambiance. While Fort Sumter was not present during the Revolutionary War, the site it occupies is home to an earlier fortification known as Fort Sullivan. During the Battle of Fort Sullivan in 1776, they used palmetto logs used in the fort's construction to help the British attacks. That's why we didn't find any earlier. There's also a museum here that you can go through and check out the story of coastal defenses and see I got a picture, a little model of the fort here. So yeah, wow. So there's the barracks. Living quarters there on the inner wall, and then we entered through here, so that would have to be the one on Morris Island. So even though it's weaker, you have a whole building blocking it, and then you see all the holes where all the cannons were all along here. The boat leaves in 10 minutes, so I came here at the end, and there's nobody here. Literally nobody here. As usual, I find the quiet spots.
Oh, here's a flag of the palmetto tree. There's a star on this one, and ours, South Carolina, has a moon.
As you step out of the fort, your footsteps echoing through its storied halls, take a moment to reflect on the history that unfolded within these walls. Fort Sumter, witness the opening shots of the American Civil War, stands a testament to the resilience and determination of those who fought for their beliefs. As we make our way back to the boat, let the gentle sway of the waves remind you of the journey you've taken today with me, and immerse yourself in the stories of bravery and sacrifice. As the boat awaits, remember the knowledge you've gained and the memories you've made during your time at Fort Sumter. Cherish this experience and carry it with you, for history is not merely something confined to textbooks, but a living, breathing narrative that continues to shape our present moments. Take solace in the fact that we can learn from our past, drawing inspiration from the stories of those who came before us. Together we can forge a future built on understanding unity and the shared values that make our country strong.
That's going to do it for our trip to Fort Sumter. Got a little history in our lives today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this trip out there, this adventure. Never been to Fort Sumter, but definitely worth the trip. You don't actually pay for Fort Sumter itself. The price is actually $35, and it really is the price of the boat trip out there is about 30 minutes. So it's actually not a bad price, and definitely worth it in the summer if you have a nice blue sky day. Check it out. And that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this trip to Fort Sumter. Shots were fired, and that's where the battle was. So hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, dudes.